I'm going to tell you the secret to becoming a writer. Here it is. Are you ready? Just sit down at your computer, typewriter, or pad of paper and write. Oh, you already knew that, huh? I know, it sounds simple enough, but we all know how deceiving such simplicity can be. Let's take that a step further. Being a novelist means we write books. That's the whole book, beginning, the middle, and the end. What are some ways of getting that first or latest book finished when it seems to be stalling, when washing the dog is more compelling than getting through the next chapter? Well, let's look at that story idea, the one that got you into this mess. The one that started all this bliss. You should, of course, have a story idea before you sit down to write a book, even if it's just on a scrap of paper you found on the floor at the grocery store. Do you look at that scrap or synopsis and think, this is a neat idea, I think I'll write a book about it? If that's the kind of enthusiasm you're dealing with, forget it. You should be so excited about writing that book that you can't wait to sit down and start it. Now that doesn't mean you can't be scared to death to do it. It just means the drive should surpass any level of nervousness or fright to find yourself sitting at the computer. Evaluate your level of enthusiasm. Is it enough to get you through 55,000 to 150,000 words, depending on what you're writing? Is there enough conflict and plot to keep you, the writer, interested, much less a reader? If you're not sure, keep digging. At the least, keep rolling that initial idea around until something really neat develops. The next step works a bit like a workout buddy. If you have to call and cancel, you're less likely to bug out. When you have a partner or a critique group asking what you've written lately, it's a great motivator for actually getting something done. Excuses don't trim thighs, and they don't get the book written either. After a while, you'll be so embarrassed about giving yet another excuse as to why you haven't written anything. You'll start writing. Even a few paragraphs is better than nothing. I keep a little calendar next to my computer, and every day that I write, I jot down how many pages I've finished. That is my reward at the end of a long day of writing, and my incentive for not jotting down a measly number like 3 pages. Sometimes I'm pleasantly surprised. Other times I'm a little disappointed, but I see progress. I can also see how diligent I've been in my writing schedule. How many times in that month did I write in those purple numbers? Plus, I get to see how long a first draft takes me. I'm the kind of writer who has her story pretty much laid out before I start the book. Everybody works differently, but I like having all the twists and turns worked out beforehand. It takes some of the pressure off trying to figure out while I'm writing. Of course, my characters take off on their own, with new twists appearing, and that's fine. But at least sitting down to begin, or picking up in the middle, I know where I'm going. If one way isn't working for you, try it the other way. When I hit a mud bog in my story, I don't spend a lot of time trying to figure out how I got into it, or what it's made of. I jump out and go on. Having the story already laid out usually keeps me out of those bogs altogether, but not always. If something's just not working, I skip to the next scene. I can always go back. Sometimes I realise the reason I had the snag was because the scene just didn't belong there to begin with. Without spending too much time analysing it, I've already gone and worked it through. Everyone writes at their own pace. Find your pace and set a minimum. My minimum is 20 pages in any one writing day. No matter how late I get myself going, I must finish that many pages before I can shut down for the day. Anything over 20 pages is even better, and I feel good about those over pages. You might set a minimum time period, though I find pages are much more productive. Oh, and pages don't include letters to friends. Visualize finishing the book. Focus on how it's going to feel. Decide what your reward will be. Say, spending an afternoon on the beach or lazing around reading a book. Chocolate works too. Of course, just the feeling of accomplishment when you finish the book is reward enough. But hey, a bonus never hurts. Got all that? Good. Get to work. After this one, there'll be another one, and another. You've got a lot of work to do.